In this first look video from InfluenceWP, we are checking out a WordPress plugin called Powerfolio, which is going to be a highly customizable portfolio widget for adding, like it's kind of like it sounds, a portfolio to your WordPress website. Before we poke around the Powerfolio website here a bit and then look at the solution together for the first time, just a quick bit of housekeeping. First look videos cover products we have no prior experience with. They show vendors how new users experience their website and product for the very first time. These videos are unedited, high-level introductions that are not paid for, they're not sponsored, and they contain no affiliate links. If you'd like videos like this created for your business, go to influencewp.com/partners and request your free partner membership. And we thank Powerfolio for being a partner. If you like what you see in this video, go over to our website, find the deals section, and do a search for Powerfolio and grab that exclusive offer. All right, so the website we are looking at today is powerfoliowp.com. All right, so pretty simple URL. And like I said, this is a widget, highly customizable widget for adding a portfolio to WordPress. They use the word Elementor in it quite a bit, but it's also, you can use it with Gutenberg. I think you can use it with other page builders as well. What we're going to do is we're going to rattle off all of the features. I want to make sure we get everything. And because this is a solution that leans on the visual side of things, I want to show you the demos that they actually have on their website, just so you can see what's capable with an end product portfolio, what that might look like fully designed. Because this is a first look video, we're not going to dive that deep into making a portfolio per pixel perfect. Okay. All right, so we're going to look at the features. We're going to look for key pages like an about page, look for some documentation, a change log, those types of key pages. So right off the bat in the nav, I am seeing a features link here. So let's go ahead and click on that. That drops us down like into the pricing more than it does features. Let's go back. Let's go back up a little bit. All right, so features, filterable portfolio grid, masonry layout, special grid layouts, easy customization, no coding required, compatible with Elementor, portfolio carousel widget, box layout, lots of hover effects, and you can display custom post types or portfolio categories. And I thought somewhere, let's go actually into the pricing here just to see if so you get an Elementor widget. Okay. Planned features. But I think this already works with Gutenberg, the block editor. I thought I read that. But I see down here a Gutenberg widget is planned. So we'll check this out. So yeah, planned features, extra customization options, extra hover effects, portfolio pagination, new widgets, and so on. All right, so I'm not seeing any documentation. So I'll say this right off the bat. If we find that we need documentation, then I'm just going to say it right now. We need to see some documentation on the site, but we may find it's just so easy to use that it's just kind of self-explanatory. But yeah, there should be documentation on the site if we in fact need it. I'm also not seeing a change log. So I'd love to see a change log. And when you do the change log, not only do you talk about like what's been released, but have the date along with the version numbers, not just the version number. Okay. What else? An about page. I don't see that either. I recommend having an about page so we can see who's behind the product. That establishes a bit of trust with potential customers. Maybe a little bit about the company or the team or the person. Doesn't have to be a team. It could just be one person, but just a face. It doesn't have to be your actual face. It could be your face turned into a caricature or whatever, but just some sort of add a human element so people can connect with you. All right, on the about page. Okay, that's enough rambling about that. Let's look at the demo here. So we've got grid or carousel. So here's a bit of feedback. It's not really super, I guess that's the grid. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's a little confusing for me. That's probably my fault there. So we do see over here with grid selected, it kind of turns like a little bit of a darker color here. So maybe a little bit of a UI update there just to make it super clear what is selected. I would think that the brighter one would be the one that's selected. Okay, so we have the grid is selected as it shows us over here on the right-hand side. It defaults to all, but you see how you can sort through the various categories. So that is cool. Under grid, okay, so I see. So under grid, then you've got these different demos. So this is demo 1, demo 2, demo 3, demo 4, demo 5. And it looks like under each of these demos, you see how these switches down here are changing. So each demo has a different config there, okay? But definitely check this out if you're considering this solution, because this is going to show you more of an end product, like what's possible. And then come in here and mess with some of these switches. So change 2 columns, so maybe 4. Let's select all. There we go. So that's better. So demo 1, all photos. And then you've got all these options: grid style, masonry, boxes, special grid, and so on and so forth. You've got the column selection. So let's go to 4 columns, boxes, masonry. All right, and then you can adjust the hover effects. You can see that right there. We're hovering over the images and we've got that effect. So that's simple. We could let's do from bottom. There's that hover effect coming from the bottom. And you see you have all kinds of hover effects here. Let's go one more. Let's go card from left. Here we go. Super cool. And it may look wonky here. It's fine. Like this is not how it's going to look when you set it up for yourself. It's just it's demos. So you want it to be perfect, but I wouldn't worry too much about that because you're going to configure this how you want it to be. Okay. I am not worried about it. I know I could set this up, and I'm confident you guys could set this up just fine, even if it's not pixel perfect here. Okay, show category filters. So we can turn that top bar on or off. We can turn off zoom effect on hover if we want. Use margin between items. That's on. We could remove those margins. Trying to see how we can find some margins here. There we go. So we've got a bit of margin there. So if I turn that off, maybe this is going to be all squeezed together then? Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's how that works. Display specific portfolio category. Okay, we don't actually, not available on the demo. That's fine. We will look at that here in a bit. Styling, hover content, alignment. Okay, that's cool. Hover content. So that's horizontal alignment. Then you've got vertical alignment. Text transform. So we could go to uppercase for the text if we have text there. There we go. So see on hover that text is uppercase. Let's change that over to lower. There we go. So we see that working. Item border radius. So it looks like I'd have to inspect it, but it looks like maybe we've got a border radius of 5 on each of these items. So let's just change it to something else. So you see that taking effect there, just when you drag that. So a bit of feedback. I would like to see some fine-grained controls where we can put values in here and really control what it is that we're seeing. Okay, but you see you have that easy slider right there. All right. So what color do you want to show? Right now when you hover over, you've got, it's kind of like a black, shade of black, but you can get in here. We can maybe choose this. Let's go InfluenceWP blue. Maybe put some transparency on it. All right, let's see how that looks. All right, that's more of the black. So let's choose this color. Go with that. There we go. So that was my fault. So now we have like this blue transparency. That's with some transparency. Super cool. And then we've got filter. Let's try red just to see what that's going to do for us. Background color. Okay, so that's the filter right here, up here at the top. See that? So if we change that to this crazy green, there we go. All righty. Last one here is background color, active item. Let's make this red. There we go. So category 2 is active. So there is seemingly a little bit of an issue here where it's not changing. So category 3 is active in this case, but it's stuck on category 2. Okay, minor issue, but if you're watching this Powerfolio team, just a little bit bitty issue there, not a huge issue, but an issue. All right, so let's go over and look at our actual site. We have this menu item here, Powerfolio. From here, we can get to a support forum, a contact page. You can look at your account. Let's actually click into Powerfolio and see what we get. So we get a walkthrough, some updates on features, some steps, color scheme. The main color, set the main color of your website. That's interesting. Set the main color. Okay. Let's come back to that. Let's go up here under portfolio. And we're not going to have any categories, but you see that you can set that up. Let's just do category 1, cat 2, cat 3. Let's go over, we don't have a portfolio at all yet, so we're going to just go add a new portfolio item. I'm just going to call this item 1 and set my featured image over here on the right is what I'm assuming I'm going to do here. So let's just pick an image. Cool, publish. Okay, let's go back here and, okay, let's go back here. Let's just add a couple more here. Let's go item 2, featured image again. And we'll do one more, item 3. Oh, we didn't put any categories. So let's do that. Let's do, put the image on this one. There we go. I'm going to set a category, a portfolio category. So I'm just going to expand this over here on the right. I'm going to go cat 3 for item 3. For item 2, I'm going to go cat 2, category 2. And for item 1, I'm going to do a quick edit and choose category 1. Okay, there we go. So now we have our 3 portfolio items. All right. So that's that. So how do we get our portfolio? So let's go back to Powerfolio. I keep wanting to call Powerfolio portfolio. So maybe that's a good thing. I'm not sure. Powerfolio, here we go. How do we display this? Displaying using a shortcode. You can display the portfolio grid on a page or post or Gutenberg. Yeah, so there is Gutenberg support using a shortcode. Okay, so we're not going to get too fancy here, but you can see how you can specify different layouts and whatnot. We're just going to go ahead and go with the default Powerfolio. But if you want to get fine-grained about what categories you show, maybe specific portfolio items, it looks like you can do that. So I'm going to go over here to a page. I'm going to create a page. I'm going to call this portfolio. And if you're not familiar with the block editor, you can do the slash that leans to the right. It's going to pull up your available blocks. You can also click this plus icon up here. We're just going to do the slash, and then type in shortcode. Paste in that shortcode we copied, publish it, and we're going to go view this on the front end. There we go. So there's our portfolio. Here we can filter by our categories. Okay. So that's cool with all of the items. We didn't do any extra things in here. So if I was to type in, so if I hover over that, nothing happens. Let's go back over here. So here's all the way you can customize the shortcode. Post per page, the type you want to do, specific categories, taxonomies, show filters, the style. Okay. Link to, set the link type for each portfolio item. So you can probably link to the post, the featured image, into a lightbox. You can do columns and margins. Link to image. Okay, let's just try this other shortcode for fun. Refresh, see what we get. Nada. So I must have copied something wrong here in the code. Post per page 12. Yes, masonry link to. That should work. But that's okay. We won't worry about getting into the weeds there. I'm going to put back this. I'm going to put this shortcode back. Sorry, I've got too many pages open here. Okay, there we go. Save that. Refresh. There we go. All right, so that's working again. So that's Gutenberg. That's the block editor. Let's check this out with Elementor. I don't think I have Elementor installed. Let's go ahead and just install it real quick. Get them another install like they need it. All right, so let's go back to our page, our portfolio page. Here we go. I'm going to refresh this. We are now going to edit this with Elementor, and then we're going to use the Powerfolio block. All right, so I'm just going to get rid of all content on this page. I'm going to do a search here for Powerfolio and hope we find it. There we go. Elementor. Okay, so we have two, image gallery and then the Elementor portfolio gallery. I'm just going to drag that here onto the page. So here it's going to be easier for you to set up. If you're used to Elementor, this is going to be much easier for you to set up than using shortcodes. Come in here, what post type do you want to use? We're going to use, I think you got to use the Elemenfolio post type. Show category filter, yes. Show all options, yes. Display specific portfolio category, no, we'll leave that. Here you can do the grid settings. So you can fully build out the grid however it is that you want. That is super cool. So let's go back to grid builder there. 1 column, 2 column, 3, custom. Then you can set specific widths, specific heights for all of this stuff. So really, really cool stuff. You can get really granular with what you want to do. Let's just go back to boxes. We've got 3 columns. We could set this to 2 columns. All right, number of columns on mobile. So you've got some mobile responsiveness there you can work with. Use item margins. Yes. Do you want to do more margins? So see how, as I'm sliding this over, you see the margins get even bigger. Okay, box height, we adjust this, that's going to grow. There we go. Super cool. All right, let's just go back to the default, 250. Hover effects. All right, let's get into this. Hover style. From bottom, there we go. And see how it's taking on item 3, that's the name of our post. And then it's got the category underneath that, okay? So what do you want to show on each of these, or what do you want to link to these projects? They call them projects. Each project links to the page, the image with a lightbox, or an image with a default Elementor lightbox. Okay, zoom effect on hover, you can set that. That's working, that's good. Not seeing anything under advanced there. Maybe that's because of something else we've chosen up here. But let's go ahead and publish this and look at it on the front end. There we go. So we have all selected by default. We see that we can filter. Okay, we've got that hover effect. Now what happens when we click on this? It should take us to the actual item. So item 3, there we go. There's our post. We now have the ability to click on this right here. Oops, sorry, that is my fault. Click on that. It's going to come up with a visual search, and I think that is just my browser actually doing this, not the plugin. So let me get out of there. So that's my browser doing that. So I apologize for that. Cool. Down here you have the author, written by. So obviously, if you have different authors for each of these portfolio items, I'm not. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not sure why you would. You could have different artists for different portfolios. So I could see that. So you'd have the different authors displayed at the bottom of each of these images. All right, so style. I mean, you're in Elementor at this point. Oh, there's more stuff. Okay, yeah. So under style, there's more things that you could do here. We could put a background on this. Not sure where that's trying to apply the background to, but it doesn't appear to be working. Hide item title. Let's do typography. I'm just going to set some crazy font just to see if this is actually working. So let's go some crazy big font. There we go. So we see that that is working. Let's reset that. Do a text shadow. You've got all kinds of options here. Hide the categories. We're not going to go through each one of these. Border radius. Let's put a border radius of 50 just to see that it's working, and it is. Border size. Let's do 20. Yep. All good. Set the border color. That's cool. We can work with the filters, assigning typography settings, text shadow, text color, background color. So maybe we want these to be green. There we go. Think about accessibility when you're doing this stuff. Active item, let's go blue. There we go. So that is working. We can set a border radius on each of these items. Maybe do something like 10. That's cool. Filter text transform. If we want to do like uppercase, we can do that. We can get in and style the pagination. If we have enough items to where pagination kicks in, you can style that all up. Super cool. All right, let's go ahead and publish that, and then we'll go ahead and look at this front end one more time. There we go. We've got our crazy design. This is looking cool. We've got filter by categories. We see that the active filter is styling properly. Very cool. All right, so let's go back here to their site. Powerfolio, WP.com is the site again. And you see here, again, I recommend playing with their demo here. It's going to give you an idea of what's possible. Not perfect. There's also the carousel widgets. We didn't really look at this one. Here you can, this is really cool. You can sift through here. Same thing, adjust the hover effects. Display specific category, styling. So you've got all kinds of styling options here again. So it just comes down to the look that you want to have. But yeah, just know that you have those two options, grid and carousel. Okay, back over here on our page. So we chose, do we have the option to choose which type it is? All right, so we can choose the number of projects, pagination. So if pagination was on, you could style that up. You're seeing that now here in the bottom. I'm trying to see if you can choose grid settings, boxes. I'm not sure where you can choose whether it is a grid or a carousel. All right, let's go back up here. Let's do one more search for power. Let's try this one right here, just the regular gallery. Maybe this is where the carousel lives. So we've got our different individual items that we can add. Show category filter, show all. Yep. Grid settings, boxes. Okay, so a little bit of a different approach here. I'm not sure how to do the carousel. It's not jumping out at me. So if you're watching this Powerfolio team, I'm not really sure how to do that. The other thing is, let's do one more page here real quick. I'm going to check one more thing out. Let's go gut folio, making that up. Let's do the slash that leans to the right and pull up the block. I'm going to do a search for power in here. Here we go. So this is so you don't have to mess with the shortcode. So let's drop that in. And then now we can get in here and adjust the block over here on the right-hand side. I don't know if it's just me. It could be totally my fault, but I'm still not seeing how to do a carousel. Maybe that's only possible. Maybe that's only possible if you use a shortcode. I'm not really sure. Anyway, you can style up this block just very similar to Elementor. It's just a different just a different UI, right? Yeah, I am not seeing the carousel, and that's probably my fault, something I'm missing, but I think you guys get the idea. Super slick. I mean, it's super easy to use. I just wish I could figure out how to get this carousel working in here. Let me do a search for carousel just for fun. I know you get the element. Oh, here we go. Okay. So there's some feedback. I'm glad I'm glad I stuck with this. So that's some feedback. This did not come up in search. So now if we drag that in here, there we go. So now we've got the carousel that we can design. Okay. All right. So that's the carousel. So then back to Gutenberg then, the block editor. If I do a search for carousel, okay, it doesn't come up. Okay, so that's the feedback there for the carousel. I'm not sure how to get that to work with Gutenberg and the block editor, and it was difficult to get it to work. Shouldn't say get it to work, to find out how to add it. It's difficult. I'm finding it impossible in Gutenberg and the block editor to add it. It was hard. I almost couldn't find it in Elementor. I found it at the last possible second, which you saw. So just easy things to fix, right? Super easy things to fix. Okay. I like it. I really like it. Super powerful. Super easy to use. Just needs some little fine tuning. Get those key pages on there, about page, the documentation, the change log. Shore up a couple of those just little nitpicky things that I found. But it's obvious. It's obvious how to use this and super useful. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.